people, he's chewing me out. This is a ski resort in the summertime above beautiful Lake Tahoe. And he goes, it's a waste of a mind. It's a waste of a mind to get rich. I'm going, well, what else am I going to do? So he asked me a question that changed my life. He says, what does God want you to do? And I went, what? You see, the problem is most people come out of wherever they go and they say, what do I want to do? What I wanted to do was get rich. And I was pretty successful at by then. It's 1981. But he asked me the question, what does God want you to do? And that took me for a loop because, as I said, I flew these in Vietnam. My whole life is dedicated to killing. So the reason I show you this book here, the Capitalist Manifesto, and the Communist Manifesto is what I think God wants me to do, which changed my whole life, is teach money. I was going to be a teacher of capitalism. And that's when I created Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the board games and all that. I took all the lessons I had learned from my rich dad, not my poor dad, and I began to teach. And I think that's what God wants me to do. Because it's been nothing but good luck after that. Not been easy. Easy. I'll just hit the skull, what's going to do? No, I've been screwed, tattooed, met good people, honest people, liars, scumbags, and all this. But that's the process. As Bucky Fuller said to me, he says, you weren't given a left foot and a wrong foot, or a right foot and a wrong foot. You make mistakes left, right, make mistakes. And most people are not successful because they're afraid of making mistakes. So Fuller has this whole series of books. One's called Mystique. And he's changed the world. Harvard, this is Fuller, and Harvard calls him their #1 graduate. Trouble is, Fuller didn't graduate from Harvard. He flunked out like I did. No, I didn't flunk out of Harvard, but I flunked out a lot of times. But he was the man that asked me one most important question. What does God want you to do? And so
pretty interesting. Full-on capitalist, a guy who, like he says, spent his whole life getting rich, and he's answering the question, was it worth it? And what he's showing you is, even though that is true, he chased it in the name of teaching other people, learning it deep down so that he could bring it to others. So that instead of you asking the question, instead of you saying, I cannot afford it, you instead ask the question, how can I afford it? His cash flow game is free. You can just play it online and practice making better investment decisions. I mean, if you want to live in a system, have a car, have a house, you will need to pay your bills if you want those conveniences. If you want to open the fridge and there be meat there, and you don't want to get the trouble of hunting, you need to be in the system. You need to be in the matrix. And as far as being in the matrix, it tells you the best way, the most convenient way to be so. And yet, he's telling you that the way he lives it is by being a teacher, is his vocation. What does God or whatever calling you have inside or outside of you is telling you to do.
The reason I show my gunship and this is because I've been fighting these guys since Vietnam, and they're now in our school systems. If you read this book here, you'll find out that in 1930, this was 1848, but he predicted what would happen. What Marx said in 1930, the way communism would come to America and take down capitalism is via education, higher education. So what happened in 1930, Columbia University Teachers College brought in communist teachers from Germany, and they started teaching America's teachers to be communists. So today, if you read this book here, they're good people.
I mean, go watch what Elon is doing. Doesn't go much far from that. UBI.
My poor dad, but they have Marxist ideas. So the long answer to a short question, is getting rich worth it? Depends, but what's worth fighting for? What does God want you to do? I fight for capitalism and free enterprise, free speech and freedom. That's worth fighting for, and I get rich doing it. If you just want to make money, buy gold, silver, Bitcoin. No problem.
What was the biggest challenge getting rich?
You gotta be kidding me. Every day is a challenge. What's the biggest challenge getting rich? Every day is a challenge. You see the reason we go E, S, B, and the I, the E's are not interested in getting rich. They want job security and a steady paycheck. That's all they want. The biggest challenge is getting rid of that idea. I just want a steady paycheck and a 401k. And for the S, the biggest challenge is, I'm a doctor, so I'm the smartest, and I'm gonna do it by myself. As self-employed, small business guys, they think small. The biggest challenge is getting out of this cheap and tacky small mind. Because if you really want want to be rich on the B and the I side.
I mean, if you become a specialist at something and you just go up to people, for example, you specialize in butchering, and people call you up to their house to basically divide animals into parts. They give you some part in exchange for your labor. I mean, it's not terrible. If you love painting and people pay you for doing so, it's not that bad. I mean, if you are chasing the big numbers on your bank screen, then it might not be the best idea. But in terms of vocation, I mean, it's not a bad start to be a so-called freelancer. What he has done is more in the cash flow, passive income area. It's what he is going to tell us.
You have to be a leader, you have to have a team. Another thing about the B and I, when you look at that, B stands for brand. You really want to be rich, build a brand like Tesla or Apple or Microsoft. That's what great entrepreneurs do. There's so much to learn, and everybody wants the quick and easy answer. You want the quick and easy answer? Buy gold, silver, Bitcoin, don't do anything else. You'll be rich. Not because you're smart, but because our economy's been run by idiots. They keep printing more money, so the more money they print, gold, silver, Bitcoin goes up. That's all you have to do. Just do that. But is that what God wants you to do is my question. Thank you. So, what does God want you to do? And the question is, what's worth fighting for? What's worth giving your life for? That's the question. But I'd already faced that in Vietnam. That was the U.S. Marine Corps, U.S. military schools. We dedicated our lives for freedom. Most people will give up their freedom for a few dollars of job security. You ain't got it. You ain't got it. Find something inside of yourself that's worth dying for and go for it.
You might check the videos of, for example, Robert Greene. He goes a bit into depth in the notion of you understanding what your calling, your vocation is. I mean, there is something that you might have had in your childhood, it doesn't really matter. But nowadays, today, what drives you? What calls you? Is it to write music? Is it to create websites? To program a little bit? To code? I mean, if you just follow your inclination, you will just get there, for as long as you trust your gut, your intuition, your instinct.
Anything else that you think is important for someone to understand about really getting rich?
Use debt to buy assets.
Well, then...
That's all it is.
Okay.
This is the big point. Go read this book. Thanks for watching.